Hello YouTube, it's Friday, June 18th, 2020. Today may be one video, maybe two videos, I'm not sure. I was talking to one of my riding buddies here, George, and I told him, I said, hey look, I'd like to go out to Pittsfield, Mass to Ronnie's Harley Davidson. And for those of you that don't know, Ronnie's Harley Davidson, they've got an online microfiche for getting OEM parts, and they do a pretty good mail order business. I get a lot of parts from them, especially OEM parts. It's just way too easy to get on their microfiche, order up the parts, have them shipped. But they were unable to send me some oil for my 15,000 mile service, so I'm gonna go up there, and I already did the service. I have to get the oil local, so I'm gonna go ahead and just pick up 5 quarts of oil, a filter. I want to get spark plugs. Spark plugs are a calendar item on your service schedule. They're supposed to be changed every 2 years, but what I'm finding is that the dealership that did all the services on this bike didn't do any of the calendar services, like brake fluid change, spark plugs. So I'm going to pick up some plugs, a couple of bottles of .4 brake fluid, because once you open a bottle of .4, use what you're going to use. You might as well throw the rest away because it's going to start absorbing moisture. But when I checked mine, both of them need to be flushed, and the fluid needs to be changed. Now I know there'll still be a little bit of the old fluid in the ABS system, and I'm not going to worry too much about that. After I change it, I'll go ahead and activate the ABS system, doing some panic stops in a parking lot to get those actuators to open up and flow the fluid, and then I'll recheck the fluid. I don't know if it's going to make its way back up to the master cylinders or not, and I may just go ahead and flush it a second time after I do that, just to make sure I get all the old fluid out. So anyway, on the way to Ronnie's in Pittsfield, we're going to go to Mt Greylock. So I'll probably start the video off when we get to the hairpin turn in North Adams. I know I try and videotape the hairpin turn every time I go through there, and today's going to be no different. I'll go ahead and videotape the hairpin turn, and then I'll videotape some of the roads going up to Mt Greylock, and hopefully we'll be able to get up all the way to the summit of Mt Greylock. It's a pretty cool place. I've only been there once on the bikes, and I couldn't get to the summit last time just because of traffic. So with that, I'm going to ride along here, and once we get up into deep into the Mohawk Trail, up right before we get to North Adams, we'll kick on the camera again and catch some video. Okay, so as promised, the infamous hairpin turn. I didn't catch the signs ahead of time because I had a phone call, work related. It seems as though I always get them on my days off, and it never fails that we've always got somebody in front of us, and we end up coming to a stop as we go through the turn, which is typical. And it's a New York license plate, so I'm sure they're gonna do something unusual. Maybe not. Now there you go, hairpin turn, and I'll crank up the camera again once we get on the road headed over to Mt Greylock, and I want to try and get as much of Mt Greylock as I can on this video. So we'll be back shortly. Okay, so we're in North Adams, and I believe the road is Notch Road that goes over to Mt Greylock. So I started up my Harley Davidson ride planner, and I'm doing a record on it. So if you ever make your way to North Adams, you can load this up and take the ride over to Mt Greylock. It's a great ride, and I'll terminate the ride once we get to Ronnie's Harley Davidson in Pittsfield. So I'll record all the way to Ronnie's. And we're coming into North Adams. I've done a few videos on this. Just some beautiful scenery right in front of us there with the church steeple and the mountain right behind it. The ride up to the summit at Greylock from this side is it's a great ride. Mt Greylock Scenic Byway. Here we go. And we're entering the gate and we're going up to the summit. "25-mile-an-hour speed limit." We're doing but you got some really tight hairpin turns all the way up because the road actually switches back several times. This will get rid of the cheetah stripes on your tires for sure. They put these little rumble strips in for the hiking crosswalks. And we get another hairpin turn. And not quite as tight as the other one, but and another hairpin turn. So you definitely you get used to doing your lefts and rights, that's for sure. And my ears popped again, so we're going up pretty good. During the week, it's not so bad to come up here, but on the weekends, I'll bet you it's just packed. Traffic, last time I was up here, I couldn't even get to the summit. Traffic was backed up so much. And we got road work ahead. Let's see what this is all about. Pavement's really nice. They keep it clean, they keep it swept. You don't have any debris for the most part. Really a great road for a motorcycle ride. They got hiker pull-offs here where you could do all the different trails. Definitely a temperature change. It feels good right now. I got my jacket on. It's been 82, 84 degrees, but let's see. Yeah, it's saying 75 up here, 74, which is kind of nice. We're pretty good ways up now, and there's going to be some overlook areas here coming up where you'll be able to look out over the valleys below. Here's one of them right here. That must be the road work they were talking about, that barrel. We're entering War Memorial Park. Let's look at the road. It's just so cool. Little twisties with elevation changes. And there, that would be the summit right up there. And that's where we're headed to. And we're coming up behind the car, so we weren't riding very spirited anyway, but boy. Well, he's going to let us by. That was mighty nice of him. Thank you. Yeah, they got a few of these little pull-offs where you could take photos. They've got the trees cleared out to where you get a good view. Oh yeah, I love the twisties. Love the twisties. It's so much fun. And we're making a left to go up to the summit. There'll be a big lookout area here on the right. I'll try and get you as good a view as I can. Pretty nice. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. What summit wouldn't be complete without antennas? (3,491 feet). Looks like a good day for everybody to be out riding today. Okay, we're leaving the summit of Mt Greylock. I took a few pictures with my cell phone up on the summit, and I'll add those into the video. So we're going from here to Ronnies Harley Davidson in Pittsfield. And this, actually, we're going to go down the opposite way that we came up on the other side of the mountain. And wow, that's a view. And we'll be in Pittsfield, so it's going to be a relatively short ride to Ronnies. And I'll do a little bit of video at Ronnies if they're open for customers to come in. I may have to call them on the phone and tell them what I need and do curbside pickup. Not sure, but we'll see when we get there. So the access road going down on the Pittsfield side is it's just as curvy as the other side. You don't have the hairpin turns. Well, I take that back. You do have a couple of hairpin turns. So wow, that was a real tight one. Look through the corner, watch where we want to go, and there we go. Doesn't really matter what kind of motorcycle you ride. I mean, everything I learned from road racing, it's still relevant even on a big Harley. It actually makes riding this big beast fun, especially on these little twisty roads. You just don't go as fast as you do on the other bikes. Doesn't make it any less fun. See where my mileage is at for this year. I had about 3,400 miles so far this year total. I've put over 2,400 on the new bike. We got some hikers out and about, and looks like we got right lane closed ahead. Must be, oh yeah, they had a little cave in. And we're entering the town of Pittsfield. Man, lots of boats out on a Friday. People out enjoying some water sports. Definitely a beautiful day for it. You got kayaks, canoes, motorboats, pontoon boats. And there we go. Ronnie's Harley Davidson. Looks like they're open too. we made our stop at Ronnie's Harley Davidson. They had everything I wanted in stock. I got some plugs, new screen protector for the radio, oil, filter, brake fluid, stuff I needed to stock up on. And we stopped and had some lunch, and now we're on Route 9 East, heading back to Central Mass from Western Mass. So I hope you enjoyed the ride up Mt Greylock. It was really a great ride. I highly recommend it. A good place to go. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Click on the bell as well to get notifications when I upload new videos. So with that, I'll say keep the shiny side up, rubber side down.